Welcome to Metal Minutia, episode 4. Who would have thought? 4 episodes in. This will actually, statistically likely, be our best. If we go on to have more than 5, this will be looked back on as our glory days.
Yeah, absolutely right. We must be entering the glory era. We must be entering the ultimate phase.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it'll probably, be one of those things that's looked back on, wasn't appreciated enough at the time, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. No, we're definitely not appreciated enough in this time. Absolutely. Probably in 60, 70 years, this will be looked back on.
Classic podcast era.
Yeah, yeah.
Episode 4, episode 3. Whew.
Yeah.
Rapid falling away.
Yeah. Episodes 4 to 6, absolute dynamite. And then they sold out, got way too big for their britches. And,
chasing the dollars.
Jumping the shark.
Yep.
Etc.
And if you're going to do it, a metal, minutia-based podcast is the place to sell out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is where the fat corporate dollars are,
Ripe for plucking.
Yeah, everyone wants to know. Because that's what all the kids must be listening to this.
What else would they be listening to?
What have you been listening to, Phil? Yeah, cool. More to the topic.
Back on topic.
I've been listening to the new single by the Swedish band Tribulation. Are you a Tribulation fan?
Yeah. I wouldn't say I'm a massive fan. Oh, I don't know many of their albums. There is one album, fairly recent one that I like a lot. Black cover, grey.
Yep.
I don't know. Probably describes all of them.
Yeah, that might be the most recent one.
I think so.
The Gloom Becomes Sound.
That's the one.
Yep, it's cool.
So they got a new one. That's exciting.
It's just a single.
Yeah.
But it's really exciting. Just a bit of context here. It's been a really crazy ride being a fan of this band because they've changed so much over the years.
Yeah, okay.
And their first album in 2009-ish is just straight up pure Swedish death metal.
Right.
And then the second album a few years later is like this really sprawling, epic kind of prog death type thing. And that's where I come on board.
Yep, of course.
And yes, absolutely, naturally. Yeah, being a fan of the progressive side of things and what have you. Like psychedelic guitars, really angular, strange riffs, and it's really long.
Right.
And it's killer. I love that album. That's the Formulas of Death.
That doesn't sound at all like the album I listened to.
Right. No, it doesn't. Because they've changed heaps. It's been a wild ride being a fan of this band. And if you've hung on, for dear life, in the intervening years, I think they've had 2 or 3 other albums, and each time they add more textures. They add more things, more psychedelic things. And also stripping away the kind of the death metal brutality and the savagery, and it's opened them up to do like some really. I think they can kind of do what they want. At this point, I remember a few years ago thinking that. My favorite album of theirs is Down Below, which was 2018, and I remember thinking around then that it's so cool and so well textured and so melodic and, dare I say, beautiful, that I remember thinking at the time, there's nowhere else for these guys to go. They've done everything in like the death brutal kind of, and they've gotten to this point where surely they'll have a different singer or a new singer or someone who can do melodic stuff eventually. And sure enough, on this new song, there's like a really cool melodic baritone chorus thing happening, which the singer does anyways. The fellow. So it's just a single, but hopefully it's a sign of things to come, and hopefully there's a new album in this style, because I am on board.
Yeah, nice. Very cool. That is exciting news.
Yeah. I should probably say what it's called, actually.
Just leave us
The
hanging.
song is called Saturn Coming Down.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's killer.
Yeah, nice.
And on the retro side of things, I have been revisiting Queen.
Of course.
Yes.
Which album?
The first 2. Queen 1 and Queen 2. Yeah. We need to talk about this actually eventually. It might not be today, but Queen, not a heavy metal band, but maybe the number 1 or top 10 kind of bands that, while not being heavy metal, the genre owes this much to Queen.
That would be an interesting, top 10 bands that aren't heavy metal, but heavy metal owes. That would be quite a list to put together.
Yeah, let's think about that.
Yep.
Yeah. But the first 2 Queen albums, I can't believe how fully formed they were, and how wild Freddie's voice is just at the day dot.
Yeah.
First track. It was like, for them, it was just no choice. It was superstardom or bust, just like...
Yep.
Just ready to rock.
with the weirdest music
Yeah.
going around.
Yeah.
To this day, still pretty weird.
Yeah, for sure. And heavy metal owes heaps to Queen, like the stacked vocals, the outrageousness, the guitar harmonies, yeah. And like the schizophrenia, like being like melodic and flighty one moment, and then the next minute brutish and raw and wild, like within the space of a song or in the space of a verse sometimes.
All right. Well, we will come back to that another day.
Yes, to be continued.
Cool.
Yeah. Yourself, Ray, what's going on?
A bit of live stuff happening recently. I've had back-to-back weeks at the Last Chance Rock and Roll Bar.
Yes.
Because we were there 2 weeks ago, and I've completely blanked on the bands we saw.
Mamon's Throne was there.
Oh, yep.
And... Anarazel.
Anarazel.
Yes, Anarazel.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll edit that so it makes it look like we knew it.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, make this seem much more classy and like we're on the ball.
Yeah. And then the week after that was Reaper and Petrol.
Yes.
And Cult of the Night.
Yeah, cool.
Cult of the Night were...
Yeah.
I really wanted them just to have like a song called Cult of the Night.
Yeah.
With like a Cult of the Night.
Yeah.
Type.
Not the case?
No, it wasn't. Yeah, maybe it was the opener and I missed it.
Yeah.
But I don't think that was the case.
Yeah.
But it was pretty cool though.
Cool band.
Last song, the singer who wasn't playing guitar up until like 3 minutes into the last song.
Oh, right.
And then he gets the guitar and plays a solo.
Oh, right.
It's awesome.
Man, that's like Prince, Yeah. Like a guitar comes out of the sky and Prince is just playing all of a sudden.
Yep.
Cool.
And then, Petrol down from Sydney. Ibanez Destroyer on stage is always cool to see.
Sick.
And Reaper, who...
Stalwarts.
Yep. And then the Saturday was the Ungrateful Dead Brutality Fest. Death? Ungrateful... Yeah.
Awesome. That's a great title.
Yeah, it was a 2-dayer. I only went to the second day. But Ruckus, who use a lot of V's in their name instead of U's or other vowels.
Yep.
They were over
Good.
from... appropriate.
Appropriate.
Death grind band from New Zealand were over, plus a whole bunch of other sort of brutal death and grind type things, and just like...
Yeah, sick.
Just virtuosity on guitar.
Yeah.
When you watch guys playing, you're like, I could...
Never do that?
I couldn't do that
I couldn't do that.
half the speed after 5 years of practice.
Yeah.
It's just never going to happen.
Yeah. Very talented guys, obviously.
Yeah.
Talented musos.
A
good night overall?
Yeah, a good time overall. I was at the Cherry Bar.
Cool.
So nice to get out. The complete opposite of today's topic, I would say.
Absolutely. Yeah. Ballads.
Ballads.
Ballads. Yeah. Yeah, that's
heavy metal ballads.
heavy metal ballads, specifically heavy metal ballads. Yeah, because that's going to be my first comment on the topic, was that the Oxford Dictionary defines a ballad as a slow, sentimental or romantic song.
Right.
Which are, two things that basically everything in a ballad bucks the trend of heavy metal, Like,
yeah.
But heavy metal ballads are where we at. Do you have a topic sentence or anything you want to...
Well, let's... I want to...
Talk to me.
So my general idea of putting songs in buckets.
Yes.
There's a foot stomper.
Yep.
Which is like a mid-paced, strong pulse type,
Yeah.
It doesn't need explaining.
Yeah. It's quite all right. Feel free to do so.
And then like a banger or a rocker or a fast one.
Yep.
And then I kind of just put everything else, not everything else, but like if you were to start the decision tree with 3 things, it would be like ballad, rocker, and foot stomper would be my first 3.
Yeah.
And then there's sort of the acoustic ballad and the heavy ballad.
Yes.
Power ballad, if you want.
Yes. I'm glad you brought this up. That definition is important, and the umbrella of the ballad is important as well, because, like you say, there is the ballad through and through that's a slow acoustic song from start to finish.
Yeah.
Or there's like the song that starts out as ballady and ends up as either a total rocker or an out-and-out speed song. And that still comes under the umbrella of the ballad, because if the first 4 minutes of it is a ballad and it ends with a thrashy section, it's still a ballad.
Yeah.
You know, we can argue about that, but, you know, like Metallica, Fade to Black, that's a ballad, right?
Yeah, okay, yep.
But it ends pretty gnarly, you know, there's some heavy guitars, heavy riffing at the end.
Yep.
So it's a different kind of ballad, but it's still a ballad nonetheless. Are we on the page there? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, go on, please.
I feel like it's important to... I don't think a black metal band or a death metal band can have a ballad. To have a ballad, you have to sort of be, you know... It's really the realm of the heavy metal, the power metal. You know, thrash metal bands do it occasionally, but...
Yep. Inherently, it has to be melodic singing, right?
Yeah.
Is that the main thing you're getting at, or is it just like...
Or at least like a strongly melodic general place that the band comes from.
Yep.
So sort of like a I was going to say a doom band, like sort of gothic doom bands, like Sentenced, or if that's the right way to describe Sentenced, but Sentenced or Lake of Tears or Paradise Lost, that kind of thing. Yeah, you can see them having a ballad, but just being slow. Like you would never say the Mournful Congregation play ballads.
Yeah, tempo is interesting because then. If a whole band is of a certain tempo, you could say that everything that they do is a ballad. So it's not really the whole picture.
I think a ballad has to be significantly different to the average song that they have, but still tie in.
Yes. Yep.
Because
Agreed.
like bands will do, like Panopticon, the American black metal band that also does bluegrass albums every now and then.
Fantastic.
You know, if it's just on one of their bluegrass or, you know, folky albums, that they're all that. So it doesn't count as a ballad. Yep. But if it was...
Yeah. So one of the keys is differentiation from the rest of the material, either on that album or of the band as such.
Yeah.
Yep, agreed. That ties in nicely to the first band I would bring up with the ballad, and that is Scorpions.
Right, yep.
Scorpions are like a foundational kind of heavy metal band, and what the work that they did with the ballad across their whole career is the stuff of legend, I think. I think Scorpions are one of the ultimate ballad bands, and the reason I go straight to there is because the first couple Scorpions albums in the 70s, they're still hungover from the 60s, right? They've got like psychedelic tendencies, and so there's lots of acoustic guitars. The songs speed up and slow down. They go in and out of psychedelic kind of atmospheres.
Yep.
So there's ballad-like material on there, but it wasn't until the third album, In Trance, where there's rockers, as you said, and there's ballads. They're two specific different kinds of songs on the album. And then the ballad becomes purposeful. It becomes a thing into itself. So they've got their rockers and they've got their ballads. They serve a specific purpose on the album.
Yep.
And case in point, here is the title track, In Trance, which is a ballad and is staggering. It's beautiful. It's probably coming across now that I should say that I do love ballads. We would be talking about it if we didn't, or maybe we would, but you know, I just want it to be known. I do love ballads. And Scorpions do a heck of a ballad. In Trance is a killer example. And it's in 1975, we've got the archetypal subject matter. It's about a guy, you know, alone in his apartment. He's drinking too much because he's lost his lady love. And cue sick guitar solo, you know, devastating lyrics and expertly performed by Klaus. And so Scorpions, In Trance, and then they just went from strength to strength. Each album after that had at least one killer ballad into their glory days in the 80s, I think, Scorpions. And if you permit me to rant a bit more about this...
Of course.
A couple albums later, you've got We'll Burn the Sky off of Taken by Force. This is a very special Scorpions ballad and a very interesting one. It's like a confluence of different eras and culture. Like this song, We'll Burn the Sky, was written by the guitar player at the time, Uli John Roth, with Monica Dannemann, who was the final girlfriend of Jimi Hendrix.
Right.
And so the lyrics were co-written between the two, music by Roth, and it's Monica Dannamann's farewell to Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, that's very sweet.
It is, yeah. but it's also devastating and
Yes, of course.
very sad. Yeah, and because Uli Roth is also, and to this day remains, of course, a huge Hendrix fan and devotee. It's his, farewell.
Yeah.
Also to Hendrix, and everything comes across like it's soaked into the lyrics and the music. Like it's such a powerful ballad, and builds to these epic choruses, and We'll Burn the Sky. Yeah, great lyrics, great song.
And then Rock You Like a Hurricane. They can do poignant and less poignant.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I stand by it. Scorpions. Yeah, for sure.
And we're back.
All right.
How do you feel about... so Scorpions, you're saying, typically one ballad per album, which I think is kind of the correct number.
Yep. Yes.
The upper limit. Iced Earth, Something Wicked This Way Comes.
Yeah. I was hoping you'd bring this up.
Goes to the well a few too many times.
Yeah. One might say. Yeah, I totally agree. And also... Sorry, go on.
No. Leave you run.
All right, yeah. I think the problem with that album is it's rock-up ballad, rock-up ballad,
yep.
rock-up ballad, rock-up ballad. It's so predictable, it becomes fatiguing.
Yes.
And
even the rockers are all kind of like the same.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
You're 4 songs in, you're like,
Yeah. Yeah. I think that album would be, if we had a different order and it was 6 songs shorter, I think that would be a way more powerful.
Because it's still like
album.
13 songs, because they got that trilogy at the end.
Yeah. Maybe more than 13 at the least. Yeah. I love Iced Earth, so I don't want to get in the business of shit canning bands here, but yeah, that's a bit of a problem for me, that album.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're an Ed Guy fan. We've spoken about this before.
Yeah, I like Ed Guy.
We're on and off with Ed Guy. Yeah. There's too many ballads on some Ed Guy albums, and ballads are not his strength either. Like, I don't think.
Right.
Yeah.
Particularly latter day Avantasia albums are ballad heavy too.
Yeah,
I think he thinks he's quite the ballad guy.
Right. Yeah. Hey Toby, we love you, man, but just get back to them rockers, dude. Get back to them foot stompers.
Actually, I've got a CD of, it must be the King of Fools single, I guess.
Yep.
And there's a track on that, the last track on that, it's Life and Times of a bonus track.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
He's like just playing a piano ballad, singing about being a bonus track.
Yeah.
Quite funny. Anyway.
Yeah. That's great, man. That's great. That's one of the things that only he could get away with as well. Like singing a song from the point of view of a song. Yep. That's pretty daft, That's fantastic. And I think when he is taking the piss, that's when he's at his best, I think, Toby. I think he can get a bit too serious for his own good, I think. But I love Avantasia. I love Ed Guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking yesterday when I was sort of writing some notes for this, Wasting Love, the Iron Maiden, probably that's got to be the first ballad Iron Maiden, well, the first that I can think of chronologically. Was it the first? Do you know of another one prior to that?
I think within our definition of ballad, I think it's their first proper ballad proper, because Iron Maiden, being the incredibly talented songwriters they were throughout the 1980s, have like very dynamic songs. So their songs go in and out of ballad territory, but as we discussed before, that's not the same as having a ballad. Like you've got songs that start off like, I wanted to talk about Hallowed Be Thy Name. Like that starts off melodic, but it's not a ballad, it's an epic.
It's an
I would call that song an epic.
Yeah, the fourth bucket.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I didn't have that on my list, but it goes without saying.
Yeah.
And Rime of the Ancient Mariner type things. They go into Rime of the Ancient Mariner would go into the melodic phases, but is largely an epic.
Yes. Yeah. Largely a foot stomping epic.
Yes.
Yeah. Wasting Love.
Wasting Love.
Yeah.
So I got on the thought of Wasting Love, and then Tears of the Dragon.
Yes.
Which would have been a year or two, or maybe 2 or 3 years later.
Yep.
And it's like, they're kind of similar songs in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And I was sort of pondering and I like your opinion. Was it maybe Bruce trying to write Tears of the Dragon song? Was, writing Wasting Love didn't quite come off how he liked, so he tried again, did Tears of the Dragon, a better song. I would, because those choruses are very kind of similar in vocal.
I totally agree with that. I reckon that would absolutely have been the case. I reckon that's a pretty safe bet. I'd never thought about that before. That is an excellent call, and I can support that with some anecdotal evidence.
Oh, right.
Because I remember reading the Iron Maiden thing first started coming apart in around 1986 when they were knackered from world touring for the previous 5 years.
Yeah,
and
writing an album every year and touring. Yeah,
yeah, playing 300 shows and what have you. And around somewhere in time, both Bruce and Adrian wanted to do like more acoustic stuff and explore some different territory. So Trace was like, "Nah, man, let's just keep rocking for a while," or whatever. However the conversation went. Yeah, it went exactly like that. No, let's just keep rocking for a while, eh?
Yeah,
good call. Yeah, good call. Absolutely great call. So and then you got a few years. Yeah, absolutely. I think that definitely would have been the case.
Yeah, another anecdote around that time I heard was that like Bruce had these songs written, I guess, or parts of songs written for Somewhere Back in Time.
Yep.
And like Mick Wall or various journalists, when he was hanging out with them, he would be like, "Oh, this one's going to be off the new album," playing them something, trying to plant the seeds, and then you look at that album, writing credits.
There'd be none ballads.
No writing credits for Bruce.
Oh yeah. Yeah, wow, man.
So anyway, I kind of... Because I was thinking that like Bruce has a fair few good ballads on...
Yeah, definitely.
His albums. Tears of the Dragon's an absolute belter.
Yeah.
I like Jerusalem quite a lot, of Chemical Wedding.
Yeah, for sure.
And Navigate the Seas of the Sun off Tyranny of Souls is another good one. Oh, Man of Sorrows.
Yes. Accident of Birth, yeah. And the last song on Accident of Birth, Omega, maybe? Or Omega Man, Omega something?
Yeah.
Arc of Space, maybe?
Arc of Space and
Why
Time.
am I saying Omega? Arc of Space, I think it is.
There is an Omega.
There's an Omega somewhere.
Maybe it comes up in a chorus.
Yeah. But Arc of Space is a beautiful song, and that's the last song on Accident of Birth. Man, great call. Yeah. Arguably, that's what separates Bruce's solo material from the Iron Maiden stuff is a bit more exploration on that side of things, and with such competence as well. It's not just like...
I quite like him when he's in his lower register.
Yeah, right.
And he sort of gets very dramatic with his delivery.
Yeah.
Then it makes the highs kind of cooler.
Excellent call. And that is something else I want to talk about, is that the reason why the ballad is such a magical thing is because I think in the ballad we find out what a band is made of sometimes. In a lot of the cases, we find out like how good's your singer. We'll find out because when the ballad comes around and it's exposed. Yeah. And it takes confidence and strength to play softly and build back from that. Like a lot of drama comes from the ballads. Yeah,
even the guitar solos that can't be just blazing because they, you've got space.
Yeah. You can't just come in,
etc.
Yeah, you got to come in a bit like.
You have to lead in on a bend, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
On the related to Iron Maiden ballads, or lack thereof, did Judas Priest have many? I was trying to think of Judas Priest ballads, and the closest I could come up with was Living Bad Dreams. Yep. Have you got a...
Yeah, I've got a bunch of favourite Judas Priest. It all happened in the 70s.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, they all happened in the 70s. Sad Wings of Destiny has a couple of staggering ones actually. He's got his Halford and piano just by himself, Freddie Mercury style, which I would think it would happen a lot more, but they got out of their Queen phase pretty quickly. But Epitaph, which is that's off Sad Wings, which is an awesome ballad, and of course Dreamer Deceiver. The ballad that's backed up with Deceiver afterwards. That's and that's like semi-psych. Like that's really kind of a bit hangover from the 60s as well, but it's dark. It is heavy metal. Like that's I'm glad you brought this up because if that's 1976, like that's around the time the Scorpions as well, when they were starting writing their killer ballads as well. Like I think there's an argument that Priest and Scorpions were the first heavy metal balladeers, you know, and
when would what about Sabbath with like It's All Right and that kind of thing? What year would that have been?
Yeah, It's All Right's probably that's like 77. Yeah, that's on Technical Ecstasy. Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, of course. Sabbath. Yeah. One cannot go past. Of course, Changes. From Volume 4.
Yep.
Solitude, which is probably my favourite Sabbath ballad off of Master of Reality, which that's just Ozzy and a gentle Iommi guitar, and Ozzy kind of doesn't sound like Ozzy. It's really, really gloomy and strange and a bit psychedelic as well. Yeah, it's a beautiful song.
For some reason, whenever I think of Judas Priest, I've got just this block in my head of like...
Yeah.
All I think of is the sharpest, sharpest everything, the heaviest everything.
Yeah.
Just painkiller.
Yeah. When I think of Judas Priest, all I hear is a motorcycle.
yeah. And like, as soon as you bring it, Sad Destiny, of course.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But yeah, I'm just thinking, Painkiller's not a ballad.
Yeah. Painkiller's not, but Breaking the Law's not a ballad.
Yeah. Hell Patrol, not a ballad.
Yeah, God. Judas Priest. Yeah, but actually...
Living Bad Dreams has got a hell of a vocal on it, though.
Yeah. Stained Class has Beyond the Realms of Death, which is that's one of those ones that starts out ballady and ends up as with really rocking in the choruses, but I think it's overall a ballad, so... Yeah.
And it's got that Diamonds and Rust, the cover.
Yep.
Cover of a ballad.
So. Yes, that's totally counts.
Yep.
But they do make it a rocker, though, don't they? So that's...
Yeah.
Is that a fifth bucket? No, I'm sitting to the ballad. The umbrella of the ballad is a strange one, and it's not black and white.
No.
It's not black and white. Yeah. But Beyond the Realms of Death is one of the all-time ones because that's not, for me, that's not just a Priest classic. That's an all-time heavy metal classic, I think. And as you were saying before, sick guitar solo.
Yeah.
And I think probably if I was to write a list of my favourite guitar solos of all time, which I have, and I'll recite for you right now.
If I was to do it
right now, which I will. I think most of them, a good deal of them would be from ballads because there's just a space to build.
Yeah. When do you think the ballad changed from being written to be a song, and then at some point they became... You can argue that this maybe isn't true, but a lot of ballads became written for people, for the crowd to sing them. Like
1988.
Yeah. And why? Why did this happen? Is this like a Desmond Child type influence via, the Bon Jovis of the world and that kind of thing, or is this?
Yeah, interesting. Let's extrapolate here. I think there's a few different points in history where it could have happened. All roads were leading to there eventually, though, I think, because either way, you end up in 1989 with Poison, Every Rose Has Its Thorn. You know, like all roads lead to there eventually, no matter what we talk about. I think, because that's the thing I wanted to touch on as well. Your question reminds me of that, is that ballads become such a part of the show experience.
Yes.
You know, that's just what you've said. Yeah, like pull out the lighter and the crowd singing along. That's something that comes from classic rock, I think. And I think heavy metal ballads were always going to get there regardless of when the change, really took place, which I think is probably late 80s, right?
Yeah,
like when heavy metal is at its absolute commercial zenith, and you've got arenas, and we need to have a ballad or two.
Yes, we need
for the audience participation.
Yep.
What do you think?
Around then it would be the time.
Yeah,
but don't you feel like some ballads, particularly with bands that have, the Jeff Tates of the world and these types of, incredibly gifted singers, Michael Kiske types. Do you want to be in a crowd that all you can hear is the... You want to hear Silent Lucidity sung by the guy next to you?
Everybody now, you sing it.
Yeah. Or...
I mean, no, but...
Tale That Wasn't Right, sung by the guy next to you.
Yeah, sung by Jerry next to you. That's part of it though, isn't it? That's going to gigs, right?
Yeah, it's life.
That's going to gigs, and sometimes they're your mates. Sometimes
best case scenario.
Yeah. Sometimes it's the idiot that you brought.
Yeah.
But I think it's particularly punishing in a ballad if it gets to a softer moment and it's about to come back in with the note, with the note,
yes.
And then you hear, old mate, not relevant to heavy metal, but there's live versions of Oasis's Wonderwall and Liam Gallagher's not even singing anything. The crowd's just singing it all, and it's just like, why did I even pay to...
Yeah.
Right.
Or you just get any person with an acoustic guitar.
Yeah. I could have paid $100.
We'll do the rest.
Yeah. Could have paid $150 less. And just,
Is it a rule that the chorus has to have the ballad has to have a double chorus at the end? Is that a rule?
All things become rules eventually, I think, because it's, if it works enough times, right?
There wouldn't be many ballads without the double chorus at the end.
Yeah.
Because you got to have the chorus and then the soaring, the extra soaring vocal the second time around.
When it goes up a key, up a tone,
Key change.
Yeah, see, now we're talking about that. This is pop music, that now we're going from the changeover, I think, and you're right. Double chorus at the end, especially if it goes up a tone, that's 101 what pop music does. Yep. And so... yeah, that's the territory we're in there.
Yeah.
So is it a rule? No, it's not a rule. But do you want to make an extra $1 million? Then yes. Double chorus and go up a tone.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's Desmond Child? what would Desmond Child do?
Yeah. Almost just choruses now.
Yeah. Right, what you want to do is you want to start with a chorus.
Chorus.
Straight to the chorus.
Yeah.
And chorus to bring it home.
Double chorus. Maybe a midsection. Who's your favourite balladeers? Who's your favourite ballad heavy metal band?
All right, my answer to that is threefold.
Yep.
I think the band that do it best is Scorpions.
Okay.
From their 1975 to 1984 kind of,
You're not including the Berlin Wall destroying Wind of Change?
I am not including that for fear that it will take this podcast in a different direction. But now that we've mentioned it, we've mentioned it, that it exists and it was a successful song, yes. But no, I'm talking about When the Smoke is Going Down or Still Loving You. See, Still Loving You, that's a showstopper. That's arena ready. That's the ultimate Scorpions ballad as far as being, arena ready and 80s heavy metal vibe. That's because always the lost love thing. He knows what he's doing. It's so good, but it's still so genuine and it's so it's such an incredibly delivered vocal and so Scorpions, I think they do it best.
Yep. But
my actual favourite ballad band of all time is Wishbone Ash.
Oh, right. Did not see that coming.
Yeah, a bit left field. Again, not a heavy metal band as such, so probably doesn't belong here, but I think they're probably on the list with Queen, maybe a bit further down the list, but they're not a heavy metal band as such, but the particularly underground heavy metal, they're fans.
Yeah.
They're a heavy metal fans band, even if they're not heavy metal.
Yeah.
By definition or as such, but I know 9 out of 10 metalheads I know who like traditional heavy metal, they love or like Wishbone Ash.
Of course.
And I think Wishbone Ash have 2 or 3 great ballads on each album. It's ridiculous. And they don't sap the energy of the album, which that's like you said before, 1 ballad per album is that's enough.
Yep.
But I suppose that's what puts them in the classic rock category as well, because Wishbone Ash are a bit more dad rock than I'd like to admit, and
than you'd like to.
Than I'd like to admit, yeah.
And the third
is Queensryche.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
Well, Queensryche, that's an interesting choice. Well, maybe there's a lot of Queensryche ballads I don't. Obviously, Silent Lucidity. I Don't Believe in Love. Is that getting classed here?
I wouldn't.
No,
I wouldn't.
It's a bit too fast. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking The Lady Wore Black.
Right. Yep.
I'm thinking The Killing Words from Rage for Order.
Yep. Okay.
I'm thinking, I'm thinking Roads to Madness from The Warning, which is, it's only a ballad for the first half, but I think this is definitely in that category of ballad where it builds to the crescendo, the epic, heavy crescendo.
Yeah.
So I think Roads to Madness just makes it into that kind of territory that we're talking about. It's on the cusp, yeah. It's on the cusp. And yeah, Jeff Tate obviously just has the voice for it. Yeah. He's just phenomenal.
Yep.
Especially at that time. Absolutely phenomenal. And you, Ray, talk to me.
I'd go probably not a surprise. Well, maybe it is a surprise. Virgin Steel is my pick.
Awesome. Yeah.
They've got...
Absolutely saw that coming.
Yeah.
So, awesome.
I reckon they do ballads as good as anyone.
Yeah, cool.
Emelath and Strawgirl off Marriage of Heaven and Hell Part 2.
Yep.
Forever Will I Roam, which is a little bit of a clumsy way of saying that.
Yeah.
Of Marriage of Heaven and Hell Part 1.
Yep.
And then, When Legends Die off the second House of Atreus album. But yeah, they've got a bunch of them. And they're just... David DeFay's very dramatic and over the top and...
Yeah.
All the stuff that makes ballads cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
And he writes from piano perspective as well. He plays keys, but as the main songwriter, rather than writing from a guitar perspective, I think I don't know, piano writers seem to do it better.
Yeah. Yep. I'd agree with that.
But that's my pick. I haven't done a top 3.
Yeah. Awesome. No, that's fine. I cheated there because it's too hard to narrow it down. Yeah. Doing my research and kind of preambles for this, I realised how much I loved ballads more than I
I sort of I was surprised as well how many there's a lot.
I want to talk about Metallica just for a moment.
Yep, of course.
We did mention Fade to Black before. I know Metallica has been overanalyzed and overexplained over the years, but this is what we're here for. And songs like Fade to Black, Welcome Home Sanitarium, and One, like I know we've heard them 1,000 million times, and they are omnipresent. But just as far as separating a band from the pack, arguably there's a case to be made that that's what was really started to separate Metallica from the herd in the 1980s, because a lot of countless bands were writing sick riffs and sick choruses and great songs. But when Metallica throw out a song like Fade to Black in 1984, it's like, whoa, these guys... Yeah,
these guys can write songs.
Yeah, there's something going on here. There's something else going on here. So I just wanted to mention that. Just wanted to mention that. Kirk Hammett at the height of his powers as well with their guitar solos. So, yeah.
And then we don't need to talk about their 90s ballads.
No. End of podcast. End transmission.
There's no need to bring up. Yeah. Thrash bands in the 90s making ballads.
Yeah.
It's not what we need to talk about right now.
No.
Manowar ballads? Do we need to talk about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ballads that change how you pronounce words.
Yeah.
It's not courage. It's courage.
Yeah. I want to... What's on Kings of Metal? Stand and fight. Born with a heart of steel. Yeah, killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Burn the bridges behind you.
Yeah.
Outrageous lyrics on that album.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome.
Oh, they got the Crown and the Rings on that as well, is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Eric Adams has a voice.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
yeah. Outrageous, man. Outrageous. Is that might be the first album... That might be where the ballads started for Manowar, I think, on Kings of Metal. There's no ballads on... again, like there's ballad-like material within the epic songs.
Ballads.
But there's not full ballads. There's definitely not ballads on Hail to England.
No.
I think it's just a 38-minute bass solo, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it started around Kings of Metal.
I think so.
Yeah.
And it got to a point where it became like 1 in 3 of their new songs eventually was a ballad.
Yeah.
Because...
Yeah.
They...
Yeah. Oh, man. on that album, Gods of War, it's like 75 minutes long, and there's one rocker on there.
Yeah, and there's two like long instrumental bits, tracks, and then the rock is track 3.
Yeah, goodness.
Finally, like 12 minutes into the album starts.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
help us out, you know.
Because it's like 14 tracks and about 6 songs and about 3 ballads.
Yeah, that's gee whiz. Yeah, that's tough going. That's tough going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're making you work for it.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I think they definitely worked out that writing ballads for the crowds to sing was a good move for them.
What's the best decade for the ballad?
Oof. Probably it's got to be I was going to say the 80s, but now I don't know. I didn't. Because 90s is probably the best and the worst in some ways. It's like people that shouldn't. I think American bands doing ballads in the 90s was a problem.
Yeah.
But European bands doing it was probably good.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's fair to say. Well, I think because in the 90s, all the quality heavy metal was coming out of Europe, and for them exploring the ballad stuff, it wasn't like, you know, ironic or a betrayal of of where they were coming from. It was honest.
Yep.
You know, I think early 90s out of the US, like we said it before.
Was happening.
Sorry,
it was very obvious what was happening.
Exactly. Yeah. Again, every rose has its thorn. You know, which I don't actually hate that song. You know, it's not the worst song on the planet, but it's what was wrong.
Yeah.
It was the end, you know, and it was songs written for that specific purpose that began to really, you know, it was the end.
Yeah.
You know, and a purpose-built ballad for that reason is...
I just had this thought. I can't think of a Dio the band ballad. Can you?
Nope. Not off of Holy Diver or Last in Line. We'll probably look at the track listings after this and be like, idiots.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I can think of plenty you did with
Children
Rainbow.
Of the Sea on Heaven and Hell as well would count, I'd say.
Would it? I don't know.
So.
Yeah, it's got a wonderful ballad intro, and there's a second verse which is ballad-like. I reckon that's on the cusp.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Lonely Is the Word is a ballad-like song, but it's not. I don't think it is a ballad, but it's ballad-like.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Because it's all distorted guitars, which is another reason. You know, it's more doomy. Actually, it's probably just a doomy song.
Yep.
Yeah, never mind. Cancel that.
But yeah, for a guy with such a voice, to not write a ballad is kind of interesting, I would have thought. Because particularly through the 80s, you know, when it would have been...
Yeah.
Like
the time was ripe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would have been an easy thing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's odd. His ballads with Rainbow are killer though, and Catch the Rainbow and Rainbow Eyes.
I guess he did sing Rainbow songs live in Dio, so maybe he just
probably thought there was enough.
Yeah, just throw them in the set rather than
then write new ones. He was too busy writing Foot Stompers. Yeah.
Which is the Dio bread and butter Foot Stomper.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Totally. Mid-paced.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Vinny Appice.
Yeah.
Just having a go.
I love Richie Blackmore's ballads that he wrote for Dio, or with Dio, however you want to say. Richie Blackmore's a great ballad writer. Soldier of Fortune, which he did with, I think that's David Coverdale. That's a killer ballad. For me, 70s ballads is where it's at, I think.
Yeah. Was there any Deep Purple Richie Blackmore ballads? What am I thinking? There's not one on Machine Head.
Yeah.
Just trying to...
Well, the bonus, there's a B-side, When a Blind Man Cries, but
it
wasn't on the album proper.
Yeah.
I think Deep Purple are one of those bands where their ballad stuff was woven into the overall dynamics of songs, like their epics, like Child in Time. You know, starts out very ballad-like, but I would not call it a ballad. That's an epic, or you know, an epic jam song, you might say. So I don't think Deep Purple in the 70s specifically wrote ballads, but it was part of the fabric of their overall sound. I think.
You're not going to go 2010s for the best era of ballads?
I reckon if I looked at some track listings from my favourite bands, I would find some.
Yeah.
I think I would.
Yeah, you would.
Being a big fan of the last 10 years of Opeth's career, they've written many acoustic-y ballad-like songs. So they've got, I think there's a song on Sorceress. There's a couple of killer ballads on that album. And there's a couple of killer ballads. Oh, there's even a couple of killer ballads on Ghost Reveries. So Opeth are a great ballad band, especially, of course, when he started singing melodically. And so, yeah, probably 2010s. Also, I'm a huge Symphony X fan. And they wrote a few. They've got a bunch of ballads as well. And Russell Allen, coming from the school of the Dio kind of... sings very melodically, but with great power. He's got a ballad-ready, arena-ready, ballad-ready voice.
Yep.
As well.
What's your preference, the acoustic ballad or the power ballad? You know, to make a very broad division. I
don't think I prefer one or the other.
Yep.
I think it's all album specific, or it's all about context, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all about context in where they put it in the show, where they put it in the album.
Yep.
Where it happens, it's all about, is that right for the moment? And then if it is, it's triumphant. It's like it takes you to a different place. And then when you're brought back, etc., that's the drama, of the overall presentation. That's where it's at. That's awesome. But yeah, context, like everything. If there's 3 ballads in a row, it's like, I'm getting a bit sleepy. Yeah.
Have you got a favorite moment in a ballad? I've got one for you as a lead off to give you a bit of time to.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
It's in Past and Future Secret by Blind Guardian.
Haven't even mentioned Blind Guardian yet once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess it's the second verse when Hansi just like lets rip with his vocals.
Yes.
Like it is so over the top.
Yeah.
For an acoustic song, and it is just screaming.
Yeah, that's killer. He can totally get away with that. It's so ridiculous, like that. If you heard that song instrumentally and gave it to a singer, they'd be like, I'm not gonna, but he just goes bananas, and it's totally awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And does like
killer.
12 tracks of it overlaid.
Yeah. Yes. Awesome. Yeah. Man, the Bard song.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
That's and like a moment in the show as well, like show-stopping moment.
Interesting one, that as well, because the studio version and the live version, because the chorus and the verse, also the chorus overlaps the verse on the studio.
Yes.
So then they've got to add the extra beat.
Yes.
So then...
they rewrote it essentially so it was easier for the audience to perform.
Yes.
And you know what? We just tacitly agreed with it. We're like... We didn't rehearse it, as the audience. We don't say, we don't come in early. It's so fascinating how that evolved, because if you just didn't listen to any live versions and you go to see Blind Guardian for the first time and you go to sing along with it, no one's like singing too early. It's like, I came in a bit too early. Everyone knows the bit.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah, that's killer.
And then, like, no one thinks about it either. They go back and listen to the album version. They're like, "No, that was the same."
Yeah. I didn't see any discrepancy whatsoever. Yeah. All is well.
Yeah.
Man, Blind Guardian are a great ballad band, actually.
Absolutely.
They've got a bunch of killer ones, man.
Yeah. Well, Lord of the Rings is another.
Oof. Yes.
Both versions.
Yeah. Yeah. There isn't a bad version of that song, actually. I think there's 2 or 3 versions. They're all killer.
But yeah.
Sorry, I'm cutting you off there, man. But ballad moments, like when he goes, "I'll keep the ring."
Oh,
man! I'll keep the ring. When the crowd sings that on that live version, Blind Guardian live album, that first one in the 2000-ish, and then
with the Imagination Through the Looking Glass DVD.
Yeah. Oh man, excellent moment.
I like it, the Mordor part of that as well.
Yeah,
because it's like. He does the Mordor, the crowd does... No, the backing vocals does the second Mordor.
Yeah.
And then he does the huge Mordor.
Yeah. Awesome.
That's another one, like the they wrote it on Tales from Twilight World,
Uh-huh.
and then like rewrote it for Forgotten Tales.
Yep.
And rejigged like a fair bit of the structure as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, the arrangement, the structure, and the lyrics change a little bit. They stop saying dwarf and add dwarf instead of a gnome.
Yep.
Gnome.
Yep.
But yeah, again, no one really.
Yeah.
No one sings the other version.
Yeah, I think Blind Guardian fans are just like
They're on top of it.
yeah, just in agreement with what's going on. Everyone's on the same page, you know. At a Blind Guardian show, everyone's on the same page. Everyone shows up. You've done their research. You know, they've got they know their cues.
Yep.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings, awesome call.
Harvest of Sorrow is another good.
Yes, is that
That's the bonus track or B-side off
Imagine
the Mirror Mirror soundtrack.
Yep.
Sorry, single, I should say.
Yep, cool. Harvest of Sorrow. Yep. The Elder off of
Nightfall.
Mate, let's just have a moment of silence for that. Everyone out there, just sing that song in your head for a second. Phew. Yeah.
The point that peak vocals happen.
Oh man.
Like peak inappropriate vocals on a piano ballad.
Yeah. Whoa, absolutely. Yeah, speaking of letting loose. Yeah, man.
Did he not let loose?
Soon my spirit will return.
Yeah, it just keeps going.
Oh, there's no ceiling.
No.
There's no ceiling. You think like, man, is he going to go wilder than this? And then he does? It's insane.
Yeah. But they typically have, that'd be a ballad per album-ish since Tales from the Twilight World, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Not overdoing it.
No. I think we've mentioned all the killer ballads of their 90s output, actually, just now that I think about it. So, man, there's a case to be made that Blind Guardian are the best ballad band of the 90s.
Well, yeah, I mean, even the more recent ballads are really cool, I think. There was Miracle Machine off the Red Mirror, Behind the Red Mirror, the second most recent album. That one's a good one.
Yep.
Yeah, I think they've always got...
Yeah.
They've got...
Yeah, they don't sap the energy of the albums. Like, that's key, right?
Yeah.
The key with a ballad is if you want to skip it, right? Like, but you don't want to skip it.
No.
Yeah.
No, you still want to listen to the older.
Yeah. Oh man, awesome. Title track Nightfall. Nah, that's not a ballad.
No.
Slight ballad intro. I'm just so excited about Blind Guardian now, right? So it's all right. It's okay.
Yeah. No, it's understandable.
It's all right.
Yeah, we're under control.
I'm just going to throw a song title at you and tell me your thoughts.
Okay.
Guns N' Roses, November Rain. What comes to mind?
I prefer Estranged of the two.
Mm-hmm. I do too, actually, as well.
Estranged is an incredible song because it's got. I mean, they're just over the top film clips, both of them. But yeah, November Rain, big fan. I'm a big over the. I like most things Guns N' Roses have done.
Yeah.
November Rain's great.
Yeah, November Rain is a masterpiece. It's an incredible song. I think the reason I want to bring it up is because I think that was like the end of in a good way. Like that signaled the end of that era. Like if there was... if the glam
the
bands...
funeral in the film clip is
the funeral, exactly. That's the funeral of the 80s heavy metal ballad.
Yeah,
you know? Yeah. And as if the proper 80s bands weren't kidding themselves enough, I think Guns N' Roses just put an end to it. It's just like, all right, check out this ballad. And everyone just go away while Nirvana sorts this out for a while, okay? And we'll go back underground, you know? I think November Rain is that.
Lick your wounds for a while.
Exactly, yeah. Everyone needs to, I think November Rain is that.
Yeah. And the millions of dollars they spent, like it was sort of almost small film budgets to make those.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Like, it wasn't just an album track; it was a single and a music video. Like, it was properly saying, "It's like, all right, no one else is ever writing a grandiose power ballad ever again."
Yep. Jim Steinman's like, damn it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, great call. Yeah. Poor Jim.
Yeah, one of the great balladeers.
Yeah, I reckon he was out of a job when he heard that song. He was like, "Whoa, this guy's giving me a run for my money."
Yeah, I'm gonna have a fight with Meatloaf instead.
Yeah. Oh man.
Any other points to make on ballads?
Feeling pretty good about that, to be honest. Yeah.
Favorite guitar solo in a ballad? You've the Judas Priest one.
It's definitely up there, if not number one. It's top 10.
Do you have to have a Les Paul if you're going to play a solo in a ballad? Like, you should have one, shouldn't you?
Again, Desmond Child, we'll give him a call. We'll get him on the line.
I feel like if you're going to be playing a solo in a ballad, you should be playing a Les Paul.
Yeah, definitely. I would say definitely. Yeah.
Preferably coming out of the water.
Yeah. Or flying into the sky.
Yeah.
Or some kind of mountaintop.
Yeah, mountaintop, great.
Mountaintop, good.
Yeah.
Mist.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, Les Pauls. I'm on the spot, and I think we should do a separate thing for guitar solos. Sick guitar solos, ballad guitar solos.
Yeah.
No, but yeah.
Flying V is not a ballad guitar solo guitar.
No, it's not. It's not. It's the Flying V is for playing 64 notes per second. Yeah. And in fact, it says that if you buy a Flying V from Gibson, brand new, it comes with a little certificate and an instruction manual, and it says, "Congratulations on your purchase of a Gibson Flying V.
Yeah. To
be played at 400 mile an hour all the time, every time.
Yes.
Otherwise, guitar will combust." Yeah. So it's
and must be below the belt buckle.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. Otherwise, it will combust. Yeah.
Comes with a custom long strap.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got one, so I know this to be fact. Anyway.
Yeah.
I think we can wrap up ballads on that high note.
Yeah.
But yeah, ballads, quite good in heavy metal, weirdly, since they seem to be the antithesis of heavy metal.
Yeah, interesting. But what is heavy metal if not... what is good heavy metal if not light and shade, drama, night and day, like those things. So you have to have that contrast. That's probably my final word. Razor?
Excellent. Heavy metal.
Party on.
That's